Okay, so today I've got CJ and Alyssa with me, both on the team. CJ is the man behind the scenes. He's the man behind the scenes. Any problem, any difficulty during the process, anything that goes bump in the night, CJ solves. Are you used to hearing that, CJ?
Something like that.
Yeah, CJ is terrified now. Alyssa out the last time we had her on because we're not sure if she's a robot, is back. And
yes, I am back and I'm alive. I'm not a robot.
Okay, we're gonna see. So CJ, when we had Alyssa on last, she froze for like a minute and a half. And then another time we thought she was frozen, but that was just her personality.
Yeah, pretty much dead inside.
I mean, I plan to eat my lunch during this. Okay, so today we're going to talk about new construction again because everyone's obsessed with new construction. Alyssa has bought new construction twice?
Twice, yep.
Okay, and CJ is in the midst of a new construction purchase.
That I am.
Yay.
I'm so excited. Okay, so the reason I wanted to bring CJ on is because he really made me laugh hard. Was it last month?
I think it was last. Well, I mean, you've been laughing at me, I think, for like 3 weeks now about this. So yeah.
That is true because CJ's in the business and he sees all the new construction. So he knows it's constantly being delayed. Please tell everybody what happened and why you're now in hot seat.
Yeah, so I went for my pre-drywall walkthrough when they're supposed to tell you all the ins and outs and all that, and stood in my master bathroom or owner's suite or whatever they call it now, and the building manager looked me in the eyes and said, yeah, your tub's delayed a little bit, but we'll have you closed the week of the 16th of August. Pick a day that week, we'll get you closed. And I said, you got a delay on the tub and you're sure you can deliver on that week? And he said, yeah, no problem. So I said, cool, put us down for the 16th. And then 2 weeks later, I got an email on a Friday night at like 10 o'clock from the salesperson telling me that my closing date was pushed back into September.
Right.
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what made me laugh about all of this was your outrage.
It was pure outrage.
Yeah, because I think you said, quote, the builder looked me in the eye.
Like that.
I'm a man of my word.
Matters.
If I tell somebody I'm going to deliver on something, then I hold myself to that. So I just expect the same from everyone else in our industry. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Alyssa, when you had new construction, did you ever close on time?
No.
Alyssa, I think it would be really helpful. Now, CJ, is this your first personal new construction?
It is my first personal new construction.
Okay. Alyssa, can you walk CJ through some of the super fun things that happen with your new construction upon final inspection? Because CJ, when are you doing your final walkthrough? 3 weeks?
Yeah, actually 3 weeks from yesterday or today.
Yeah. So some of the fun things that I got to experience on my walkthrough was one, they built me a reverse floor plan and I had no clue. So I actually didn't live too far from the house. And so I would just go on my own and like just check it out and take a peek. And it was, a couple weeks before actually my walkthrough, and I walked in and I'm looking around and I'm like, not a general contractor, not a plumber, but I'm pretty sure like the plumbing should be here, like not here. And then I was like walking upstairs and I was confused because I'm sure you pick your layout, you look at it all the time because you're like buying furniture and everything. And so I go to the sales
No, I'm a good borrower. I am not buying furniture until after we close.
okay, well, you're planning your house out, right? So I go and I talk to the sales lady, and she's like, oh, yeah, you bought the reverse floor plan. And I was like, what? Like, no, I didn't. Like, can you please show me on the contract, like, where, you sign everything? And I guess
Right.
that was a little snafu. I was like, whatever, I was pissed, but I got over it. Then,
Wait, Alyssa, how did you end up with the reverse floor plan? That's like, was it like you did B?
I don't know. No, they said that she told me it was that reverse floor plan, and that's all they had. That's the only leg they had to stand on.
This is how they got me with that. So they say, oh, it's a left swinging garage or a right swinging garage, meaning which side of the house the garage is on. So then everything else is based off of that. And you can't have two of the same elevations, they call them.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can't have the same garage layout, two houses in a row. So that's like, they like term it very weird. It's like, oh, it's the swing of the garage. We happen to know that, like, going in, they were like, oh yeah, it's this way, not the one on the floor plan, like what you're looking at. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Yeah,
no clue.
That would give me, like, I am not a visual person. And that would, if someone said, oh, do you want the right swinging or the left swinging garage?
Oh, that made no sense to me.
Yeah, it would be like, I want this house. Right?
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Is that's how she was, oh, it's exactly the same floor plan as the model that you walked through. And I said, cool, that's exactly what I want.
Same situation.
So tip for buyers would be, with the floor plans, you need to verify, if you think your house is gonna look like the model floor plan, you need to say, is every room gonna be in this exact order?
Exactly.
Or is the reverse plan, or is the garage somewhere else? Why don't they just give people a flipping picture of what they're drawing? Like,
no idea.
Because then they'd have to make two different blueprints, and that costs extra money and cuts into the bottom line.
I mean,
Maybe.
like an etch-a-sketch, like the builders in there doodling. I don't know. That's crazy. Okay, so you had a reverse floor plan, which you were super stoked about.
Yeah, and then the second thing that was another awesome surprise is actually when I was doing my final walkthrough, and I walked into my $5,000 or $6,000 fireplace upgrade, looked nothing like the model. And when I asked the builder, oh, the fireplace that we built in the model is not up to code. So everybody who got that option, we had to build it up to code. Literally looked nothing like the model. And I was like, okay, the second you found out that whatever you built in the model was not up to code, wouldn't you like run a report on everybody who paid $5,000 or $6,000 for this upgrade and call and tell them and say it's going to look nothing like this?
Yeah, like
and
hey, we're really sorry. We know
Yeah.
you're doing this. Here's 3 options. If you'd like to keep the upgrade due to this,
Exactly.
we're going to discount it XYZ.
No, none of that happened. I was livid. I was so pissed.
What did this fireplace end up looking like?
Oh, it was just, it looked cheap. I didn't like it at all. The first one had like an awesome mantle and it was really big. The one that I walked into was like a sliver of tile and just like an insert. And I'm like, cool. Like,
$6,000 for it?
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, they gave me $2,000.
That's like going from a natural gas, like a gas, fireplace to an electric insert. That's
Yeah.
nuts.
They gave me a $2,000
You got like a digital
credit.
TV one.
Didn't this happen?
It's just got a space heater built into it.
Yeah.
So bad.
I mean, I feel like, I mean, we bought one house once. We were the second owners of new construction, and we were happy about that because the first owners, it was like a problem in the development where they hadn't connected the pipes under the tubs completely. So everyone had water that had gushed through to the second floor. So as the second owners, we didn't have to deal with that. But the first owners, there were all these stories in the neighborhood about tubs falling through the ceiling because of this plumbing. And this was a good builder. So
Yeah, both of the builders I bought from were huge. They weren't just like mom and pop builders. So I guess the lesson out of this is if you're when you're going to the design center and you're picking like big price upgrades because they're gonna nickel and dime you on everything you want. If it's something maybe like over $1,000, I would check in and say, hey, like, I know things change during the course of construction. I know obviously right now, like materials are really hard to come by. Like, is the same thing that I picked out in the design center, is that still available? A, and B, like, is it still going to be what, you know, I thought it was going to be? Cause yeah, a little heads up would have been nice.
Yeah, they swapped out our shingles on us, and so they were supposed to be slate, and they ended up charcoal. Which if they didn't tell me, I would have never known. Like I would have never had a clue until we drove by, and then we realized that all of the roofs are the same color, and they all look like a black instead of like having like a gray, like patchwork to it. So. They gave us a $2,000 credit for that though. They're like, yeah, but they discontinued it and like didn't tell us, so it's already on there though. So we'll just give you a credit. And we're like, okay, would have had no idea, but thanks.
Was the shingle color that you had picked an upgrade?
No, it was just a regular shingle color,
Okay.
but it was because I think they gave us the credit because they screwed up and they didn't put the door on the side of the garage like we wanted. And we were kind of back and forth about it, so it's understandable that maybe it didn't make it into the final contract. And what I didn't realize is they didn't have an itemized upgrade list of like all the different options. Yeah, it wasn't in
that.
The
that
contract.
Was like my Bible.
Yep.
I was like, after the design center, I said, I need this all itemized. I need the cost. I need everything on here. And I was probably their worst client, like I am with everybody else.
When the thing at the door came up, I was like, I need this. And then when they pushed the delay too, I was like, nope. I was like, I still haven't gotten this from you, and I asked for it, and I had it within like an hour, and then I went through and I was like, dang it, it wasn't in the price. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so you didn't get so Alyssa, you got the sheet, because I talked to Jen Anderson about this. We were talking about how much she spent in upgrades, because she spent $80,000 in upgrades on her house, like 20% of the purchase price.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's about what we spent too.
Really? Everyone's at 20, like add 20% to the base price is what we should be telling people, you think?
Yeah, I would. That sounds fair.
I mean,
floors alone are like 20,000 just right off the top. And that's not anything super upgraded. Like the standard is like you walk into tile, then you walk into carpet, then the kitchen's linoleum. And so like one room has like 4 different floorings. That's standard. Nobody's going to want that. And so, and then the carpet that they give you is like apartment carpet with like 0 padding, or like you feel like nails when you're like walking. So it's like you definitely need to be prepared to spend some money. Some new builders have something, it's called like all-inclusive pricing or all-in-one pricing these days, where they do include a lot of the big upgrades, which is floors,
Lennar
cabinets,
like
counters. Maybe it's Lennar,
so
which I think is nice.
Yeah, it was really nice because we were shopping between Lennar, Toll Brothers, and I think there was like another development that we were looking at, but I don't remember which one it was. And the big difference that I found between Toll Brothers and Lennar was Toll Brothers had like, you could like customize every little
they are
tiny
known for
thing.
being like a really custom.
And one of the things that worried me though too is they offer a finished basement, which I know in California you guys don't really have basements, correct?
Only if you're a murderer or keeping.
Okay. Right, so they're really common in the Midwest, and with basements, you don't want to finish them right away because you want the foundation to settle, any cracks to be exposed so they can be fixed before you put drywall up, right?
I would have never known that.
I didn't really either until I started talking to somebody about this, and they were like, yeah, you don't want to do a finished basement in the house. And I was like, well, okay, that's good to know, because I'll spend the money in a couple years and do it how we want, but make sure we don't have any foundation issues too. But Lennar does, like, we paid like $35,000 for one of the packages, but it was engineered hardwood flooring throughout the main level, the upgraded carpeting, the upgraded railings. The kitchen came with that, and then you had to get that to get the upgraded bathroom and the owner's suite.
And then like the lighting and all that. I think I do recall. And I was like, oh, I wish I would. This was nice. It's kind of just like a package deal you pick instead of, picking stuff piece by piece. Because initially when I was like, oh, I'm getting a new house, I get to pick everything out. This is going to be awesome. And once I got into the design center, it was so overwhelming. And I was just like, can I just show me like 3 options? Don't show me 100. Like, this is crazy.
We did it all during COVID, so we did it all FaceTime.
Oh, wow.
So she's like walking around the design center with her phone on FaceTime, like showing us stuff.
So did you end up spending over the package price, CJ? Great. On top of that, was it like how?
Yeah, I mean, because then we added outlets. I added like RJ45 adapters for like networking outlets into all the bedrooms that cost there's like little things that cost money and add up on top of that. But for the most part, what's that?
How much was an outlet?
$400?
$145.
Oh, okay. I remember them being crazy.
So the basement one I think is like $250, and then they wanted like some ridiculous amount to put the one for the Tesla charger in the garage.
Oh, and that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So I called my cousin. I was like, hey, you know how to run this in conduit, right? He goes, yeah. Okay. We'll take care of it on our own.
And this is, ladies and gentlemen, how CJ just voided his warranty. Okay, so they were charging something crazy for that. So Jen had to upgrade gutters.
That wasn't an option for me.
Yeah, that wasn't an option for me either, for whatever reason.
Okay, so that could be.
We don't have a lot of mature trees around our new construction though, so I don't know why I would care about upgraded gutters and like leaves going in them.
So she wouldn't even they wouldn't give her gutters unless. She's
in the desert though, so it doesn't really rain as much. That may be why. Like, I don't think you can build a house in Illinois without gutters.
Yeah, I mean, so she had to pay for $1,800 for gutters.
That's interesting.
I thought so. Okay, so CJ, you think you're going to close in 3 weeks?
I'm scheduled. I am on the title company's schedule to close on the 27th of August. We'll see.
Awesome.
Elizabeth, you want to start a betting pool now?
Yeah, I will.
I mean, I'm going to say $50. There's 0 way you close on time. Are you on my side, or anyone want to bet against me?
I'll stay positive for him.
Alyssa, I know you don't like giving up money, but this feels like I'm going to get the Nurse Initial gift certificate for $50, which I'm super stoked about. So we're going to need minute by minute. Now, the other thing people always ask is, when should I lock?
Yeah.
And what I thought was interesting is that I feel like everyone locked pretty long. Whose industry? Jen locked for 270 days. But that was also when COVID first hit and the market was incredibly unstable, March of 2020. Mm-hmm. CJ, how long did you lock for? How many days?
It was either 75 or 90. I didn't go too crazy with it. I watched the market pretty close, and the loan officer that I'm working with, I know very well, so I know he's watching the market for me too. So I was kind of watching rates. They took a dip. I felt like it was within a good window where I'm not much of a gambler, so I was comfortable with where it came in. It's under 3% on a 30-year. It's a phenomenal rate.
That's awesome. Yeah.
There's really not any reason to keep rolling the dice for me. And I figured if it drops down and we can reno, we reno, and if we don't, we don't. It's still
still an awesome rate under 3. Anything under 3 is amazing.
So reno means renegotiate to all the people who don't speak lender.
Oh, right.
Reno means that so often lenders have the ability to lower your rate once. It has to be within, for us, it's 25 days of closing. The stars have to align, the birds have to sing in order to renegotiate. There has to be a pretty dramatic movement. Mm-hmm. Alyssa, when you last did your last new construction, how long did you lock for?
I think I I think I did mine within the 90-day time frame too, because that was 2 years ago, and it wasn't crazy, like the market is right now. I mean, last week, I think I remember quoting somebody, and the market moved twice in the same day, and I was like, it's crazy right now. So,
Good.
yeah.
Okay, so do you guys, either one, CJ, we're gonna be watching to see if you close on time. Okay.
Are we
And
going to do a recap, a follow-up after closing?
I mean, if you're not closing the day you're supposed to close, I want to film that day.
You want to film that day?
Yes, that's the day we're going to come back and we're going to talk about your closing, because I think the big issue is like, the key to all of this is that even though we're all in the industry, I mean, CJ, how long have you been in mortgages?
Almost 9 years exactly. No.
Right. Okay. So you've been in long enough that you know all this stuff takes longer.
Oh, yeah.
You know all the problems, but it's impossible to not be human.
Yeah, like you get excited about your own transaction. So one of my favorite conversations to have with people is like first-time home buyers, and like when they're so nervous, and I always kind of relate my first-time home buying experience to them. I'm like, look, I came into the mortgage industry and I didn't know anything about mortgages other than I needed one to buy a house if I was ever going to buy a house, and with my credit, nobody was going to lend me money, so I had to fix that. But when we bought our house, like I sat 10 feet from my processor and I was a nervous wreck the entire time, So like, it's a nerve-wracking process, whether you're in the industry or you're not. It doesn't really matter. It's still stressful. Yeah. And new construction, not new construction, first time, 15th time, there's a million and one things that can be stressors during the home buying process.
Okay, so 2 big tips from each of you. Quick tips. Quick tips mean under 10 minutes apiece. If you have, okay, so first of all, I'm just going to put one that I think is the most important from this, because I usually think like maybe 10, 20, 30K for, upgrades. I was really shocked when it was 20%.
Yeah.
So if you guys are saying 20% as well, Jen was at 20%. I think that, people.
I was, yeah.
So beyond that, 2 pieces of advice that you think for people who are looking at new construction.
So I'll give my 2. One of them is the supplemental tax bill. So and
this is a California thing to some extent. So
okay.
Who hears this in the Midwest, don't cry. And we do try to CJ knows, like, we try to make sure this doesn't happen to you, but Alyssa, it's a good one to talk about. Supplemental taxes are important. Yeah.
So when you buy a home, your taxes are assessed on the land or on the new build, because that's all they have, right? And so the land, in my specific example, was like $200,000. Okay. And then I closed on my house. I was all well and dandy. And then 6 months later, I got a $6,000 bill after my taxes were reassessed, because it included the dwelling with the land. And I just wasn't expecting it. And it wasn't something that, you can roll into your escrow or, put in, you just had to pay it. And so when I'm talking to first-time home buyers that are doing a new build, I just like to put that little disclaimer out. And then the second tip is blue tape. And I say this because when you get a new house, you walk in and you think it's going to be like this fantastic, wonderful, brand new house. And it's going to be, but there are going to be things that, there's going to be issues. And in the first year, I think there's like a bumper to bumper thing. But what I did was, for the first month or 2, I just had some blue tape and I put it around all the issues, and I made a list every time I did it, instead of like piecemealing the seller and saying, oh my gosh, like there's no grout here. Come fix it. Oh my gosh, this sink isn't tightened. Come fix it. So I was able to just give them one list, and they were able to come out and fix everything within a week. And I just thought that was, it's a really helpful tip, because you get overwhelmed when you get into a house and then you start seeing all these things, and your natural reaction is to pick up the phone right away and to get it fixed.
Yeah, you expect it to be perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
it sure is. I did a remodel. I got brand new windows, brand spanking new. They were chipped.
Mm-hmm.
We found blue tape outside my house the other day. It's been a year and a half since I remodeled. I got so bitter. So the blue tape things are a really good idea, and getting a home.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal that for sure.
Yeah. We should send all of our new build buyers a roll of blue tape.
Yeah.
I'm worried some people are going to be like, what do you know about my builder? Okay, CJ, what are your two big ones?
Two big ones. Don't trust the construction manager when he gives you a timeline, because they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, they're managing your expectations to the best
Correct.
ability, but there's so many different moving pieces at all.
Yeah, right. But like, they don't always know what they're talking about. So the sales lady, that's the one that's telling you like the later date, trust that date, whatever the later date is. Like whoever's telling you that date, the later date, go with the later date and just plan for that.
What about the mentor that you work with that's always telling you that like October feels like a good month for you?
Wait, what? I'm sorry, what was that?
I was just saying, what about that person that you work with every single day that's like, yeah, that's not going to be the date. This is fun. Let's keep
Yeah. Well, mainly my advice there would be to tune out the negativity. Don't let the haters get to you. But no, I think the other piece of advice so far that I have is, just, I mean, especially if you're selling, I think another house too is to be careful with the timing of that, right?
Yeah.
That's something that we really, I mean, I turned down the first offer that we got on our house that was 20K over because the closing date wasn't good enough, because I didn't want to find myself in a bind where I didn't have somewhere to go. So just make sure that if you're selling a property and you're buying new construction, you cover that base too.
So when is your house that you're selling, Alyssa, we need to track this because CJ could be very stressed out here a little bit. That you're selling supposed to close? Let me just take some notes here.
8/16. We had our inspection on Wednesday.
Okay, so you're closing on 8/16 your house, and then when's the new construction supposed to close?
8/27. Uh-oh, what did I just say? Don't do that, didn't I? Oh, but I got a rent back agreement, so we don't have to move out right away.
When are you? How long is your rent back?
So we negotiated a rent back through the end of September, meaning for people who don't know, we get to stay in our house through the end of September. Normally, you have to pay for that. Our buyers were willing to negotiate a free rent back, so I don't have to pay them anything through the end of September. So we've got some flexibility on our end.
Okay, so managing the timeline and going with the later date in terms of closing. Okay, so Alyssa, we need to put 8/27 on the calendar.
Yes.
Yes, and we're either going to be celebrating with CJ or we're going to be, you're not.
Laughing at me.
You're not going to appreciate it if I'm like, where are you at? What you doing? Although it's.
Yeah. Well, you'll know because I'll be off that day if I'm closing, so. And then you'll have to deal with.
And then you'll be crying.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, we're wanting that certificate now because I really prefer if you close, I got to look at a calendar on the 28th.
That's a Saturday. I don't think that would work.
It wouldn't work, but it'd be more convenient. Just kidding.
Well, I'm sure it would be more convenient for you.
Okay, anything else we should cover before we go, or should we just see if you actually close?
We could just reconvene in about 4 or 5 weeks and see if I actually closed on time.
Okay, so either CJ's going to be on 8/27 miserable.
In this room.
In that room. Alyssa will be going to Wiener Schnitzel to get me my gift certificate once again, or you will be ghosting us, and Alyssa and I'll be like, oh my God, that's the first one this year. It's amazing.
Well, in fairness, it's not really on time because they originally said 8:16. So
8:16 to 8:27 is like nothing. I mean, you and I both know.
no, you're right, but they tried to push me back into September before I threw a fit.
Okay, so the big question we're going to end on is, will CJ's fit prevail?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.